call the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners of June 25th to order. Roll call, please.
Fretham.
We're getting an echo, but here.
Okay.
McGuire.
Here.
Moran.
Here.
Ortega is absent today. Reinhardt.
Here.
Jean.
Here.
And Martinson.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm going to turn to Commissioner Moran for our land acknowledgement this morning.
Well, good morning. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contribute their hopes, dreams, and energy to making a history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life. And some have lived on this land since time immemorial. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connections across all barriers of heritage and difference. We are standing on the ancestral land of the Dakota people. We want to acknowledge the Ojibwe, the Ho-Chunk, and the other nations of people who also call this place home. We pay respect to their elders past and present. Please take a moment to consider the treaties made by the tribal nations that entitle non-native people to live and work on traditional native lands. Consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today. And please, join us in uncovering such truth at any and all public events.
Thank you, Commissioner Moran. We have our agenda for June 25th, 2024 presented for approval. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Moran.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
Fretham.
Aye.
McGuire. Aye. And Martinson.
Aye. We have the minutes from June 18th, 2024 presented for approval. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Moran.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
Fretham.
Aye.
McGuire. Aye. And Martinson.
Aye. I'll turn to Commissioner Moran again for our administrative items, please.
All right. I'd like to move item 3, Amendment to Administrative Code, Chapter 5, Employee Personnel Effects Policy. I'd like to move and pull agreement to the...
Oh, you're pulling it? Then you don't move it.
Okay, don't move it.
Okay.
Do I read it?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. 5, I'd like to move cooperative agreement with general contractors for construction services. I'd like to move Rice Creek Common, annual financial report, and combined project budget.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
So motion and second on items number 3, 5, and 6. Any discussion on those items? All right, roll call, please.
Moran.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
Fretham.
Aye.
McGuire. Aye. And Martinson.
Aye. So we'll return to the agreement with Morcon Construction Company for Metro Square Services Center remodel project. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Excellent. Commissioner Moran.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I just want to get an update of the work that will take place at the Metro Square Service Center.
Excellent. Director Kruger, do you mind?
Good morning, Commissioners, Madam Chair, Commissioner Moran. So this agreement is to award the general construction work for the service center. As you have heard it referred to probably as the Downtown Service Center or 3.0, this will be our chance to build the service center really the way we want to meet the needs of the employees and the public in the space. We will be remodeling the space that has recently been vacated by the Information Services Group on the second floor. Remodeling that space first which will allow us to then relocate the service center. And then we will follow with a phase 2 that will remodel a portion of the current service center to allow us the full size and capacity for the service center that we've determined is necessary. So again, this is the general construction portion that will really allow us to create a more welcoming and inviting waiting room area, larger and more space for navigators and others to be at the initial desk for check-in. And then, of course, redo the rest of the space with the workstations for client meetings and an assortment of enclosed rooms for meetings with clients, again, used by all the departments that work out of the service center. So financial assistance services, social services, child protection, and we're certainly hoping over time that more departments will provide services out of there. So later, as we complete work on the design, we will be additionally procuring things like the furniture and the AV, but this allows us to get started on the demolition and construction within the space.
Do you have other
So
questions?
just for clarity for me, this is the reconstruction on the service center itself.
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Good to hear.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you,
Thank you.
Director Kruger. With that, we'll do a roll call, please.
Moran,
Aye.
Reinhardt,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
Fretham,
Aye.
McGuire, and Martinson.
Aye. We have one policy item. It's our amendment to appointments to the Recycling and Energy Board. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner Reinhardt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know that last Thursday, the announcement went out that you have been selected as the
Yes.
Executive Director for the Ramsey and Washington Recycling and Energy Center. And we are very pleased that you're able to do that, but we're also very sad that you're going to be leaving. And obviously, this is just the first step in what we need to do as a county board, as a county, to make that transition very smooth for you.
Yes.
Because this is the appointments to the Recycling and Energy Board, which of course you can no longer sit on.
That's right.
And so that's what this is, the item is simply changing, taking you off of this board.
Yes.
I also just want to say that I know that there's been front page articles about this and the fact that it is your dream job, but I have to tell you, as a member of the Recycling and Energy Board, the passion and the vision that you have for this, for the two counties and what we can do differently and move things up the waste management hierarchy, it was really very, very impressive. And so very pleased that you have that position. Sad for us, but the fact of the matter is this will be going on, the work there and the work here, but the work there when it comes to the environment will be for generations to come.
That's right.
And you are the right leader for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Reinhardt. That's very kind of you.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about the opportunity to be able to lead in this new way, and I feel really confident because we have a deep bench and great leaders here at Ramsey County, that Ramsey County will be in good hands overall. We have such a great team, and you all carry that work forward. But to be able to lead on the environmental issues for not just Ramsey County, but Washington County, so expanding the impact there is really exciting. And then over the next few weeks, we'll have other board actions, moving other assignments and resignation and all that. So all that is yet to come. We just have to do a little bit of paperwork, and that will come out in the next few weeks. Commissioner McGuire.
Because this one involves me, Madam Chair.
Yes,
I'm
it does.
excited. I'm excited to be a full member now. I was a full member for many years, and then took a little break as the alternate, and attended as many as I could, even as the alternate. But I'm excited to be the full member again, as bittersweet as it is that you are moving on. We are so excited to have you at Recycling and Energy, and of course, sad that you're leaving the board, but we know you're going to continue to do great work for Ramsey County.
That's
so
right.
we will look forward to that. So
Excellent.
thank you, and I'm excited as well.
Thank you.
For
And
my appointment.
And Commissioner Moran gets to join as an alternate.
About that,
Excited too.
You're finally in. You're a long way in. You're in. With that, we'll take a roll call, please.
Moran,
too. Aye.
Reinhardt,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
Fretham,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
and Martinson.
Aye. Next, we have our one ordinance, which is the adoption of the Ramsey County Commissioner's Salary Ordinance for 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Commissioner Fretham.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll discuss, and it's easier for me to say this as I'm leaving the board at the end of the year. But it's a challenging thing every year to talk about and to set our own salaries.
Yes.
It is a really weird aspect of this job, and I know people get angry about it, but that is how it is written in our charter. So I encourage, if the folks really don't like it, to talk to the Charter Commission to look at another method. Folks get... there's a lot of talk about this being a part-time job, and yes, we have board meetings, we have numerous outside appointments, but there's also a lot of community expectations and work upon us. I am asked every week to join events in the community, to join additional boards, to meet with people, to discuss issues, to respond directly to someone's phone call and email, because having my assistant do it is not enough. And it is not a part-time job. And if we want to do things, so at 10:30 I'll be leading a workshop on an arts and cultural strategy that I've spent the last year working on. That is something I would not be able to do if I were working another full-time job. So it really depends on what you're trying to get from your board. The role of the board is governance of an $880 million annual budget organization, and if you're looking at a corporation and their board of directors, there's likely compensation for that time. I know we had a gentleman here last week who was appalled at the idea that anyone in this room would be paid over $100,000 to be here, and I can tell you there are multiple people in this room who are paid over $100,000 a year to be here, and that is what they are worth, and that is the market rate, because that's the type of quality you need to effectively run an $880 million annual budgeted organization. I want to say that looking at, I took some time to look at this because we had another comment from someone who was upset that he wasn't on the record, that none of us would be able to make this sort of money in another position, and I need, for the record, I took a pay cut to join the board. I would be making significantly more money in my previous job if I had stayed there for the last 5 years, and that's assuming I had stayed in that job at that same level for 5 more years and not taken a higher level position after earning my law degree. So, kind of offensive that you think I couldn't earn a higher salary than this in the private market, because I absolutely could. And it is one of the reasons that I am not running again. When we set salaries for these positions, and you need someone highly skilled to be in this position, and you need to pay a wage that folks like me, who is a single parent, can afford. If it costs $90 a year to live comfortably as a single person in Minnesota, let me tell you, it costs more when you've got 2 kids. And so it's been a struggle. I have worked other part-time jobs for the last 2 years trying to make it work, and it just doesn't. When I went and looked at the other board compensation in the metro area, although it's a part-time job, generally Hennepin and Ramsey County Commissioners, you can't work another job and effectively do this. So I broke down what they were being paid and put it into an hourly rate. And even if I generously give the part-time commissioners in Dakota, Anoka, Washington, Scott, and Carver at 30 hours a week being part-time, we are still by far paid the lowest hourly rate of any commissioner in the metro area. The average rate, even with the generous 30 hours a week for the other counties that do consider themselves part-time, is an average hourly rate of $56.27 an hour, whereas Ramsey County is $48.79. It's a substantial difference. And I think our board has been very committed to trying to stay along the pathway of only providing COLA increases. But COVID changed a lot of things. One, there was no COLA increase for the board that year, despite we did provide it for our staff. And private sector, private pay increased substantially in 2021 and 2022, estimating about 5% each year. I sent a suggestion, knowing that I would not receive this salary because I am not running for re-election, that the Board of Commissioners should actually be making around $117,000 a year, which would put it closer to the average salary of other commissioners. I would actually look at and advise the board to consider some sort of salary estimator. We did this for all of our positions. What is the appropriate rate? What is, the market going rate? And how can we make sure that service on our board is not only open to people who can afford this salary? Because you're going to leave out a lot of young people who are in their prime earning years and need to think not just about their 4 years on the board, but also what does that do to my Social Security and retirement income? What does that do to my high five retirement and my pension if I go back to public service? It will have a lifelong impact taking this pay cut over the last 5 years. And I did it because I care about this and this is important. But it's frankly offensive that the idea that this service isn't meaningful. And I also want to point out that the two other elected Ramsey County officials make significantly more than all of us. So just pointing that out there. They don't have the benefit of setting it themselves or the benefit or the burden of setting it themselves, but they do make more. So I want to be clear. I think there should be some way to look at the skills and roles that commissioners are being asked to play so that we can set a competitive salary for the folks who can do this. Because otherwise, you're only going to get, if you want qualified people in this role that know how to govern, that know how to lead, that know what their role is and can do the work, you need to pay it competitively, just like any other position.
Thank you, Commissioner Fretham. Commissioner Reinhardt.
Well, thank you. I'm also in the same position. So I'm not going to be getting that salary because I am leaving the board at the end of the year. And I think that it's important to note that I thought we were over the part-time discussion because it's just simply not. At one point I decided, you know what, I'll just, for kicks, I'll figure out how many hours I work in a week. And it was averaging 50 to 60 hours a week. And people go, well, how can you possibly do that? Actually, during one campaign, I was told that I worked part-time, and when they found out what my schedule actually was, they said, well, she's working too many hours. It's like, well, I don't know what to say. I do the job, and we do it with all of our heart. I think sometimes people mistake public service for meaning that you don't, it's volunteer. Well, the fact of the matter is, when I took the job 28 years ago, I took a pay cut, and I worked for the state of Minnesota. I took a pay cut to be here. And the reality is, I know every single one of us. I mean, I earned my doctorate. I've got a master's in business administration, a doctorate in public administration. There is no doubt I could have made more money. But that's not why we're here. I mean, we are here because we care about this community. But we also need to live. We have to take care of our families. And whether we had families or not, quite frankly, the job itself requires a level of skill and knowledge and communication skills and all these other things. If we were in the private sector doing the same job, we would be making a whole lot more money. So again, it's not about the money as much as for us as it is about doing the job that we really care about. We care about people, we care about the environment, we care about our roads, we care about all of the public safety, all of these things. the other thing is, a number of years ago, because this was always a big deal. How can you set your own salary? I thought that was interesting one time coming from my plumber. So he was just aghast at it. I was like, okay, right now you're working on my bathtub, so I'm just going to leave you alone. But come on. Anyway, because we are in public service. Right. But I think that we set a way of doing it that basically always kept us a year behind our employees with the COLA. And that seems like it would be enough, which I think that it is at a minimum. But what people don't understand is we're not getting the same thing as our employees. Right. Because they get step increases, they get a number of other things. When you add that in, we are falling way behind what we give our employees. Again, I think that it's fine the way it is. I think we probably should do something that would look at what an additional, or what the market rate would be for the work that we do. But we don't want somebody, quite frankly, we don't want somebody coming in here that views this as a part-time job. That's right. As something that you just do perfunctory because we're sitting here, and this is all they see. That's right. But they see us on the weekends, they see us at evening meetings, they see us at breakfast meetings. That's right. One of the people from the White Bear Chamber, every time he sees me, is, "You are everywhere." Well, I'm not, but I try to be. Yeah. Because that's what, we give our hearts to this job. Mm-hmm. And we want to be out there. We want to be able to do everything. We can't even do everything that we want to. Right. But it is not a part-time job. It never has been, right, if you do it right. Yes. And I know that I don't know any commissioners, at least on our board, that don't give it 110%. That's right. So I'm glad that you brought it up. And it is a unique position that both of us are in. But the reality is, as the salary we pay, the salary we pay our employees, many of whom make much more than we do, and the hours that we spend doing it. It's because we feel that commitment. So that's the part of public service, but it doesn't mean that we don't earn the money.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Reinhardt. Commissioner Moran.
Well, Madam Chair, I'm going to say like ditto.
Yeah.
Dr. Reinhardt, you explained it very well. And I was like, no one told me this was part-time. Not all, I'm on 27 different committees. I'm starting early and going home late, like every day and weekends. And I'm like, so this definitely is not a part-time job. And running a government has and is not a part-time job for the work we need to do and have to do. So you two said it best, but folks, this is not a part-time job.
No, it is definitely not.
I think we could all take it over.
Yes, thank you. And thank you as exiting board members for raising it. I totally agree with everything that you said. I would encourage, and I know our HR staff is listening, that we take a look and do a full salary study so that next year the board is set up to do maybe a level setting or a vote ahead of time and do some work around that. Commissioner Brenham, your work was really great, and I appreciate your homework on that as always. Doing due diligence on this. With that, let's take a vote. Again, this year, I just want to mention, this is only a 3% increase for the record this year, with a 5% for the chair for the additional work that they do. So I just want to be clear. We're talking about a bigger boost potentially next year, but this year we're going with the COLA increase. Yes, Commissioner Shaw, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think you said it well already, that this is a COLA increase,
yes,
essentially.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Roll call, please.
Moran.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
Fretham.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
And Martinson.
Aye. County Connections, County Manager Burke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to give a shout out to staff around the county who are working on flood preparation and flood mitigation work. A really heavy lift here. Public Works, Property Management, Emergency Management, Homeland Security. It continues to be a fluid situation, if you pardon the term, and we're not sure what tomorrow will bring, but hopefully the weather holds. And a lot of staff have been doing a lot of good work underneath, and I just want to acknowledge that. I'd also like to expand a little bit on the comments that the Chair and Commissioner Reinhardt made about our organizational changes. I've had a number of people who have mentioned to me that they're feeling unsettled following several high-profile leadership changes this year. The board chair, the county manager earlier this year, and others on the executive team and the senior management team. We've said goodbye to some valued colleagues, and we've welcomed new ones. And transition can be stressful, especially when the people leaving are people who we respect or we like or we've particularly learned from. And that we build relationships with new leaders, but that's work too, and it's not easy and it is a stressor. Change really is constant and it is inevitable, and it brings opportunity and creativity and fresh ideas, and it's really important for people and for organizations both. We've invested in developing really strong talent in this organization, and other organizations see that, and they recruit here. And individuals build strong skill sets here that position them well for their next desired career step, whether that's within the county or with another organization. And those are all really good things. We are a strong, deep, adaptable, resilient organization because of all 4,000 of us. And I encourage leaders, and you can lead from anywhere in an organization, to be a support to your colleagues, to be accessible and be a good listener. Our greatest strength is our staff. You hear me say that every single budget presentation that I have done, and I mean it. And employees need to be supported and heard through leadership transitions so that the strengths in our culture are maintained. The work is never about one person, no matter how smart or charismatic or generous a leader they are. The work is a collective effort. It's led and supported by many, many people. And I just want to remind everybody, it is all grounded in our mission, our vision, our goals, our values, our strategic plan, and our 24-25 budget, all of which are solidified. And those constant pillars remain to all the work that we do. So to echo my predecessors, I just want to say onward, and with confidence and with just tremendous admiration for the work that this organization does and everybody who is part of it. Yeah. So thank you.
Well said, County Manager Berg. I couldn't agree more. I think we have a deep bench of really amazing talent. I'll just quickly share, even with the county manager search, it closed on Friday, and we have well over 45 applicants from across the country. People are really paying attention. They want to come work at Ramsey County. The first round of interviews will actually get scheduled later this week with the first round before it comes to us as commissioners. So we have a deep attraction, really good at that, and we have a deep bench. And again, post-pandemic, when other organizations quickly realized they needed to diversify their workforce, they looked to Ramsey County, where we were ahead of that and really thinking about how we invest in leaders and continue to, and we will continue to do that. So thank you, County Manager Berg. We're going to go to outside board and committee reports. I'll start with Commissioner Zhang.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me just look at my notes here.
Sure.
Sorry, just a moment. Okay. Let's see. So I just wanted to share that on July 2nd, the President's Advisory Commission on Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders will be here at Metro State, and they are hosting listening sessions. And I will be speaking there to talk about data disaggregation, our county's efforts, as well as the importance of being able to do that. In addition to that, I would like to thank Director Becker for helping the county be part of this conversation and for positioning us to be heard. This is going to be a very important one. What I've heard from community members too is that this is really how federal funds are determined too, like what they hear from community. They will be able to allocate appropriately about the needs that they are hearing across the country. So this is just really important, and I'm glad that Ramsey County is taking an active role in this. In addition to that, we one of the commissioners who serve on the president's advisory is a District 6 resident, Kai-Ying Yang. So she's been instrumental in being a community partner and leader, and it's by no mistake that they are here at Metro State.
Yes.
And also this weekend is the Hmong Freedom Festival this weekend. It's free admission, thanks to legislative funding. It's a huge event, sports competitions, vendors, performances. So folks, it's open to the public and everyone is invited. This is at the McMurray Fields in the Como neighborhood. And then yesterday, was the U of M Extension meeting. We had a discussion about a proposed increase in the county contributions that I will share shortly too, but this is a result of a committee from AMC that looked at the contributions that all the county contributes, and this is at the same ask of all the counties for a presence of the extension in every county. And this is a great partnership. One example is our Master Gardener program, where they have over 400 volunteers and manage over 400 volunteers to help support, right? And an example of their presence on our county site is they have some gardens at the county barn, and they were able to produce 1 ton of produce last year to donate it to Keystone Community Services. And this is all through the Master Gardeners program and their volunteers. So that's just the type of impact that's happening. In addition to that, they are doing some testing of some of the new produce from the U of M. So they test like test for its resilience and how it would grow. And so those are just the neat type of things that are happening with the U of M Extension and the partnership it has with all of its counties. And I will defer to Commissioner Fretham if she wants to add more to that. But that's it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zhang. Commissioner McGuire.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last week was it was Juneteenth, so there were a lot of celebrations on Wednesday, and I know they continued on into the community. Mounds View had theirs on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So just to continue the observance and the recognition of Juneteenth. So I was proud of our communities for really doing that work. The Mounds View Business Council met, and shout out to Biz Recycling because they mentioned how great Biz Recycling is. The person from the chamber who I think it's WasteWise that does the Chamber of Commerce waste work, and they were just talking about how great it was to work with Biz Recycling and all the work that we're doing together. So that was great at the Mounds View Business Council. Shout out to our legislators who are doing town hall meetings. So Representative Finke, Senator Verbatim, and Representative Hollins had a great town hall meeting, and that was exciting. The White House continues to have their weekly meetings, and this time they did, it was World Refugee Day last week, and so they talked about the refugee and the settlement there, and so it's always really interesting to listen to the White House calls. The AMC Board of Directors met. Commissioner Martinson and I were at that meeting, and of course we're going to really miss Commissioner Martinson on the AMC board. The board is a number of people, as she announced that she was going to be moving on, said, oh, we're really going to miss her on the AMC board because we talk about some really important topics. We've been working on an immigration statement. Commissioner Martinson was instrumental in helping us craft a great statement about how we view immigration and how counties need to be at the table when immigrants are sent into our counties for us to provide services. We also had a great conversation. We are going to be supporting a Citizens League proposal to support and strengthen our workforce, public sector workforce. They're going to analyze, and we know we've been analyzing, and we actually think we know why we have a shortage of workforce, but we're going to be working with the League of Minnesota Cities and maybe the School Boards Association to put together a plan of how are we going to address this issue. So we thought we just need to look at it a little differently, and we need partners in that, and probably go to the legislature together for things that we might need. So we had a good discussion on that. We had a great discussion on veterans, on a veterans issue, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Martinson if she wants to describe that a little bit more. But we just planning for our August board strategic planning. So lots of stuff going on at our Association of Minnesota Counties. Just a few other things. The Roseville Rotary passed the gavel. Just a shout out to the civic organizations and the people that lead them. Ted Johnson moved on from being president of the Roseville Rotary. Dave Webb and Kathy Ingalls-Root are taking over as co-chairs, and just great gratitude for everyone who's doing such great work. And then speaking of Rotary, we have our Taste of Rose Fest this Thursday night, which is our fundraiser that Rotary does, and all the money that we make goes right back into the community, thanks to the many restaurants and beverage providers that provide the food and beverage for this event. You pay one price, and then you go inside and taste a lot of different things. There'll be entertainment. It's this Thursday night, starting at 5 till 8 at the Roseville Arboretum in Central Park. So that's exciting. Rose Fest is going on now. The parade was last night, and all week there's activities in Roseville. So look for all the fun you want. This weekend, Run for the Roses is Saturday. That's a area favorite for people to run, and you get a rose at the end. So with that, Madam Chair, thank you. Have a happy 4th of July. Well, we'll meet before the 4th. Yeah.
Commissioner Brenham.
I've already talked a lot today, and the morning workshop will be the Nicole show, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Right. Commissioner Reinhardt.
Thank you. Well, yesterday I had the pleasure of being a presenter at the Recycling and Energy Center tour with the Roseville League of Women Voters. There were, I'm not sure how many people were there, but I think probably about 20. It was very well attended. People were very excited about going. I didn't actually do the tour again because I've done it a few times and I had another meeting I had to get to. But I do think that, I know that I extended the discussion, but they had a lot of questions. And it was, it is really fun to see. And I know that people that are listening, the tours, they are available. And it doesn't have to be a whole group that's that big. It could be school kids, it could be adults, it could be, I mean, anybody that wants to really understand their impact on the environment and how we are dealing with it in Ramsey and Washington counties, really should see it. It makes a difference. I also was able to be there for the ribbon cutting. In fact, I got to cut the ribbon for the Lake Links Trail, and how we're getting close to, not all of the pieces are done yet, but we're getting close. And it is just so well received, and people are being able to walk around White Bear Lake is huge. In a safe way, or bike around, is really important. And people are recognizing that and appreciating it. I attended the MELSA, which is the library, the Metropolitan Area Libraries, and so it's the 7 counties and the city of St. Paul. So there are 8 members, and really looking at what the formulas look like, taking into account equity, which it did not do before. And so we came up with a formula. There were 2 pools of funds, the bigger one we did earlier, and really also looked at how do we make sure that the libraries are kept whole, the library systems, I should say. And so it was a good discussion. There was a lot of talk about, what is it called? The teen, it's a comic, like Comic-Con, comic, and novels, and that is done every year, and they offer actually buses from schools that are covered, and so we'll find out when it comes around the next time. We'll be able to make sure, well, somebody else will have to make sure that we publicize that so that we get that done. But it sounded just absolutely fabulous. I also, on Thursday night, Market Fest continues through August. It is 6 to 9, so they can go to both. There's just a lot of fun, and including a car show, which generally speaking, my husband and my granddaughter spend the entire evening there with our 1970 Cadillac DeVille.
Nice.
It's, yeah, both of them are car nuts is what it comes down to. But it's a lot of fun to see all the cars and to explore.
Yeah.
Is really what it is. And that's just one, actually a small part of Market Fest. There's lots of things going on, music in the park and different things. But yours is 5 to 8, I think. Yeah. So I think, you know, we could do both. Make it a night.
And then go to theirs. Make a big night.
I also wanted to mention, I'm so glad that Commissioner Zhang, you mentioned extension. Oftentimes people don't realize that it's there. I mean, there's a lot of involvement with the Master Gardeners and other programs that we do, and a lot of education that takes place. The U of M is, I think, and Extension Service is a gem within our community, and oftentimes people don't notice that unless they actually are a participant or benefit from the 1 ton of food that was donated. I mean, think about the impact of that. And then biz recycling. I am so glad that the other chambers and that the message is out there. And I think it's important for us to note that that is not something that just happened.
Right.
I mean, our joint activities with Ramsey and Washington County have, many of them, I mean, this one's been around for quite a while, but it is getting stronger and people are recognizing it and they're learning business to business. And that's really what I think makes the difference. It's not government saying, oh, you can do this better. No, it's a business saying, hey, look what I did. And basically, biz recycling is to learn from each other, but also there's a cost that's associated with making change. The cost of the bins, the cost of education, the cost of, whatever you need. And so the biz recycling, it's to help set that up and to be because you're going to save money on the trash bill and other things. And the most important thing, of course, is the environment. But you're going to save money once it's implemented, but there's that gap. And so that's what biz recycling is about, to help people do things better, but also to make it so that it is something that they can, until they are saving money, they've got the dollars that they need to get things set up. I think that's it.
Awesome. Commissioner Moran.
Thank you. So it's been a pretty busy, last week was a pretty busy week, especially with all the events, the Juneteenth event. I was able to participate in many and several from the Fall Town Rondo Black Church Alliance. I spoke at the Rondo Center for Diversion Expression, where also we had the governor and Congresswoman Betty McCullen and Representative Samakov and the mayor. So Representative Maria Esau was also there, and others. So it was just a few other events that I also attended, just celebrating and recognizing and planning and moving forward around what Juneteenth means and what they mean for us today, not just of the past. I had a great opportunity to do some opening remarks at the Healing Brother Conference at Metro State that was led by Sam Simmons. And we've been doing a lot of healing conversations within the Black community because it's really important that we show up healthy, learn how to move from the trauma in a good, healthy way. And so there's a lot of looking at that from within and looking through the healing process, really through a very holistic, family-centered approach. So it's good to show up and participate and hear from other experts and individuals with lived experience to talk about what that looks like. And Sam Simmons always does a wonderful job. It's an annual event that he hosts and have been doing for probably the last 10 years plus at Metro State. was also able to attend the ribbon cutting event at Allianz Field for the PK Place Playground, which is an all abilities park. That was really, really nice to see that, and it's open to the community.
That's right.
So for community, that blue, wonderful park that you see in front of Allianz Field is open to you. It is all very handicap, disability accessible.
Yeah.
So it was
And
great
the
to be
kids
there.
on their wheelchairs,
Yeah,
electric wheelchairs,
right.
up on the slides, like really accessible. It was
Really,
so cool.
really. And it was just really, it was a ribbon cutting also, but it was just
Yeah.
awesome seeing all the young children there
Yes.
in the front helping with the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I also had another meeting with Open Cities. Open City is located in my district. It is a local federally qualified healthcare center that offers preventative diagnostic exams and tests and treatment. The other services is medical services, dental, behavioral health, eyes, social service, pediatrics. It serves low-income individuals, and one of the beauty of what they do and still do, because we don't have many, and they are all, we're learning that all of the federal qualified health care clinics are struggling with providing services because they do not turn anyone away, and they serve low-income individuals, whether you have or do not have health insurance. So they are struggling. So we're just checking in because I think it's something that is still needed today. There are so many individuals who are using our hospitals, our emergency centers for health care, right?
Yeah.
They're not showing up to get those annual checkups, which we know is so needed. And so just trying to just stay informed about where they are, what needs to be done. And, you know, I think they finally come to the realization that they may need to partner with another healthcare or another entity. And again, this is happening not just with them, but other federally qualified healthcare centers who are going through those challenges. And I just end with hopefully a meeting that is still coming. And I'm hoping, Commissioner Fathom, you'll be around to have this meeting and conversation with the University of Minnesota Extension Center around, I get triggered again when I heard master gardening.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so hopefully we can have this conversation about language and the impact that language have on communities and certain individuals who have been harmed by enslavement, who have been harmed by the uses of the master, right? And there are plenty of other words we can use to get to the point of someone, I guess master meaning someone who have a certain expertise, you know, but there's other ways of expressing that without using harmful language. So I look forward to that meeting when it presents itself soon.
Yeah. On that point, Commissioner Moran, I'll just share when we had our District 10 meeting at AMC, as Commissioner Zhang mentioned, they gave a presentation to all the counties, and I brought up that very point. And they said, as soon as I raised my hand, they knew what I was going to say. They're like, oh, there's Ramsey County bringing this up again. So they're very aware, and they have begun doing some work, not fast enough for our liking, of course, but they're doing work in Ramsey County where they're using different languages for different groups, and so some of the gardeners with that skill set refer themselves in other ways, and they're encouraging that. So keep pushing, keep pushing.
Change doesn't happen unless we help
exactly.
move people on to a different mindset.
Exactly.
And that doesn't mean that you was intentionally trying to cause harm.
Right.
It's just awareness is important.
Yes.
Right, and so, and for me, as a Ramsey County Commissioner, it's like, what do our partnership look like for
Yeah.
people who continue to use that type of language that we know is harmful, that doesn't align with our values that we
right.
have set before them?
That's right.
And so,
That's good.
it's nothing to do with the programming
Right.
and all the good work that's with the programming.
Yeah.
But it's moving to a better understanding. And I'm going to end with, I must say that I attended a Juneteenth event, and thank you for that, and thank you for your leadership, and always helping to facilitate and introduce the values that we stand for here at Ramsey County. That also attended a Juneteenth event and presented a proclamation to the Anika Foundation for a family celebration that was held on the steps of the Capitol, which was really, really awesome. And a great shout out to the Lieutenant Governor who showed up and participated in that conversation, along with Senator or President Bobby Joe Champion. I see you. You have been over in St. Paul a few times for some events, so I want you to know I see you. And want to thank you for just seeing us here in St. Paul. And along with, again, my buddy and close friend, Representative Samika Hussein, who's just doing an awesome, awesome job.
Excellent. Thank you. I'll just add a couple other things that others didn't get a chance to touch on. We did a tour with Representative Congresswoman McCollum of the Emergency Communications Center last week, which was really awesome. And Nancy Poss and her team put on a great tour, as they always do, and really our opportunity. And Jen Hamnick, I think I saw her earlier, did a great presentation about our alternative responses or appropriate responses in the call center, and just really sharing and lifting up that work with the Congresswoman to really demonstrate how Ramsey County is leading. And of course, she is a huge supporter of everything we're doing, and has submitted an appropriation for an upgrade to our radio system, as you know, to get that funding for radios, because it's really expensive. And so she's delivered for us there, and hopefully the Senate will pass that finally and will receive the money, but she continues to be our champion in every way. We had yesterday our joint property tax committee meeting with the school board and the city and the county together, really talking about what happened in the legislative session, but also really a bigger discussion of how do we collaborate deeper together moving forward. We have this, it's in statute that we meet and we kind of share updates, but we want to move beyond just sharing information to really a collaboration and going deep. And actually, Commissioner McGuire mentioned the collaboration around the workforce and how we go deeper, and Director Becker did a presentation about how we do go deeper on where, you know, the school exceeds or the county excels, but how do we go deeper on really investing in our students and our future workforce. So good things yet to come for the next round of those of you who will continue on to the Joint Property Tax Advisory Council. Also last week we had the 10-year anniversary to the Green Line event, and we celebrated that actually at the Twins game. So we rode the light rail and celebrated there, but it was great to see some of our old staff that came. Alumni staff was there. I saw John Sickland at the Green Line, and really to celebrate not only investment in rail, but our future of rail here in Riverview Corridor, as well as our rapid transit. So it was great, and a shout out to even our second train that connects to the light rail, right? So Borealis comes into Union Depot, then you can hop on the rail and continue on into Minneapolis. And a quick update, ridership on Borealis is so high that we've heard Amtrak is already considering a third train because ridership is so high and so popular. So if you haven't taken it, I highly recommend. We're encouraging folks from Red Wing to come to St. Paul in July. They can come to a new restaurant opening at the depot and explore downtown. But also you can go to Red Wing for the day on the train. It's about $14 round trip. So this is a good thing. So hop on the train, do some exploring, visit a winery, come home safely, and it's a lovely trip. So highly recommend it. And have dinner in the depot when you get back. Just doing all the shout outs. And then on the note on veterans at AMC voted to support a resolution. Some of you have already signed on to a letter that is going nationally, and then we'll also have it again at our national conference in July at NACO. And this is around compelling the VA doctors to sign veteran death certificates in a timely fashion. We have seen death certificates sometimes linger several months. And partly this came up post-COVID, but during COVID it was really revealed the high numbers. Anoka County in particular, which serves some 80 counties across the area, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa, had a backlog of veterans who their death certificates weren't being signed. And the reason is the VA has an internal policy that they must physically see the patient within 90 days in order to certify a death certificate. And as you know, many of us are seeing our doctors virtually. They weren't considering that as actually being the provider. And so they weren't signing death certificates, which means the veteran doesn't get buried or cremated, their family doesn't get benefits, final rights. So it's actually appalling. And so really pushing the VA to change their policy. So we have signed on as a board at Ramsey County. AMC is signing on as a state association, but lots of commissioners have signed on individually as well, and state reps. So we're working towards that. It's one of those things that you don't know until it's too late that it's a problem. And so we're working on that. And it passed the health committee at AMC and will be hopefully passed again at our national conference in July.
And it's already on your platform.
It
as
is
the
on-
Veterans Committee
yes,
at NACO. So
yes.
Commissioner Martinson made sure that,
Yes.
as the chair of that committee, that you made sure it's in our, it's on our Veterans platform.
It is on our Veterans platform, exactly. So with that, we will move, because we have a very full day. We have a workshop. It's 10 o'clock. I think we could even start a few minutes early. Oh, sorry, we have the HRA. Sorry, we're going to do the HRA first, and then we'll have our 10:30 workshop down in the conference room. This is exciting, led by Commissioner Fretham and her long work, along with our staff, on the arts and culture economy strategy here in Ramsey County. Then over the lunch hour, we have a closed to the public meeting with our due to attorney-client privileges on the Spore letter versus state of Minnesota et al. Over the lunch hour. And then at 1:30, we have another workshop on child support services overview led by Commissioner McGuire. So with that, we will move to our...
Commissioner Moran.
I'm sorry, that's right, Commissioner Moran. Yes, all right.
Okay.
Got it. We're a team here. We'll make it happen.
Right.
All right, with that, we are adjourned for the HRA meeting.